JBN, we keep you informed. St. Andrew teen charged with shooting of two women. 19-year-old Adonia Moncrief, otherwise called O'Neill, of Upper 5th Street in St. Andrew, has been charged with shooting with intent. It is reported that about 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday, June 23, two women were standing along the roadway in the community when Moncrief and two other men approached and opened gunfire, hitting them. Moncrief was subsequently charged after he was positively identified on an identification parade. His court date is being finalized. Insane man stabs mom to death. A man who is allegedly of unsound mind is in police custody after he allegedly stabbed his mother to death in Bottomtown in Clarkston, Trelawney on Tuesday morning. Ordained Vernon, 21, allegedly killed his mother, 54-year-old Hyacinth Ellison, after asking for food. Sylvia Elliston, sister of the deceased, said that Vernon came to the yard saying that he was hungry. Lickle tell him to wait. Before me know where they go on, Lickle start bawl for help. When me look, our audience have her defense a stab her. Me bawl for help. But by the time help come, she drop her gun dead, she said. Inspector Denville White of the Clarkston Police said lawmen witnessed people chasing Vernon into the station. They told us O'Dane had just killed his mother and they wanted to have their own form of justice. O'Dane has since been transferred to the Falmouth Police Station, said White. As news spread of Elliston's death, Joyce Gibbs, a neighbor and friend, was overcome with grief. We work in a cane field for years. Me feel it at the bottom of my heart, she said. Sylvia was always worried about her and Hyacinth's 95-year-old mother. How me they go tell mama? She questioned herself. She and Lickle living at the house. She soon start asking Lickle. Me now go tell her. Somebody else have to do it. Delroy Anderson, a businessman in Clarkstown, said Vernon has been having issues for years. Anderson is sympathetic to those of unsound mind who are locked up in prison. I feel sorry for them, but relatives can't manage them. In the case of O'Dane, he refused to take his medication. And when the public health people come in, he wouldn't run and hide, he said. Dunstan Harper, counsel for the area, said people like Vernon do not need to be sent to prison. They need to be placed in an institution where they can receive medical help and receive needed compassion. It should come down to regular monitoring of them to prevent another incident like the one today, he said. Clarendon community gets piped water for first time in over 60 years. Residents of Salt River and Clarendon are overjoyed as the community has been given access to piped water for the first time in more than 60 years. Southeast Clarendon Member of Parliament Pernell Charles Jr. commissioned the water system on Tuesday, opening the line to the standpipe along the Salt River main, which will serve hundreds of households in and around the area. This is the first of any piped water system in the community since 1959. According to the Member of Parliament, Salt River residents will now see improved access to potable water, improved efficiency, and a reduced need for trucking as the two wayside tanks have been connected to the main pipeline so residents will have automatic refill. Know that we have a short measure. I am focusing on implementing a permanent and sustainable solution as soon as possible, and we will work with the Rural Water Supply and the National Water Commission to get this work moving. This is part of our comprehensive water improvement program for Southeast Clarendon, said Charles Jr. Additional wayside tanks will also be installed along the roadway from Salt River through to Tarentum to increase storage capacity. For many Salt River residents, it's the first time they have been given access to piped water in their lifetime. In my past 53 years living in Salt River, it's my first time seeing water running through a pipe. During past administrations, we'll get trucked water, but since MP Charles has taken office, we got trucked water more frequently, and we now have a standpipe for the community. I thank this Member of Parliament, one resident said. Another resident noted that the new system will now ease the burden of the water challenges the community had been facing. This is only the beginning for us. Others came and made promises over the years but did not deliver. Charles came here in 3 months and said he will, and so he did. We are grateful, he said. IPRO donates crops and feed to St. James farmers. The IPRO division of the Jamaica Broilers Group has donated 260 bags of IPRO feed and 40 crop kits to small farmers in St. James who have been affected by the novel coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. The donations form part of the company's #GrowStrong campaign a 5-month-long initiative during which it has committed to donating more than 3,000 bags of high-pro feed and more than 900 crop kits to small farmers across the island. More than 2,000 farmers are set to benefit from the initiative. The crop kits include high-pro distributed Pandia seeds, fungicides, herbicides, and insecticides, and are ideal for planting a quarter-acre plot with crops such as cabbage, okra, sweet pepper, and watermelon. The total product value allotted for distribution under the hashtag Grow Strong initiative is some $23.6 million. Vice President of Hypro, Colonel Jamie Ogilvie, said that the company was excited for the opportunity to partner with the island's small farmers as they are the backbone of the nation. We want to encourage you, do not give up. Times are challenging, and there are always going to be challenges. But we have seen time and time again how resilient and focused our farmers are, and we want to provide that kind of support, he stated. The IPRO Vice President was addressing the initiative's handover ceremony at Montpelier Agricultural Showground in St. James on Friday. He noted that the hashtag Grow Strong initiative is also proposed to encourage other organizations to give support to the small farmers. Come on board, get involved, provide some support to the small farmers of Jamaica so we can improve our food security, keep people in business, and get our productivity and the supply chain back up and running, he charged. Colonel Ogilvie disclosed that so far, the youngest beneficiary of the program is a 9-year-old boy from Trelawney and the oldest, an 81-year-old woman from St. Anne. I think that shows the extent and the breadth of the agricultural sector. There are literally hundreds of thousands of small farmers that feed this country, he noted. In March and April of this year, IPRO donated some 500,000 baby chicks to small farmers. In addition, the company is offering discounts on their broiler ration feed, which will be made available to small farmers through IPRO's feed dealers until the end of August of this year. Correctional facilities, most dangerous for sick and mentally ill inmates. More than 400 inmates have been injured in violent altercations inside Jamaica's prisons since 2018, and more than half of them have had to be taken outside the facilities for emergency medical attention. Many did not survive. At the same time, data obtained through the Access to Information Act revealed that while violent clashes between inmates are usually the cause of serious injuries and prison deaths, standoffs between inmates and correctional officers remain concerning as they have resulted in 135 serious injuries to inmates over the 2 years. For the said period, 270 inmates were injured in violent clashes with fellow convicts, and according to prison insiders, mentally ill inmates and the sickly usually end up the main targets, for both warders and inmates were often intolerant or indifferent to their conditions. The information comes as the public awaits the findings of a probe into the death of Noel Chambers, who had been incarcerated for more than 40 years, as he was deemed unfit to plead, and the fate of more than 140 other mentally ill inmates, 15 of whom, according to a report by the Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom, have spent more than 3 decades in prison without trial. It also comes as Indicom probes last month's vicious attack on elderly mentally ill inmate George Williams, who had been languishing in prison for more than 5 decades without trial. Williams, 75, suffered injuries to one of his eyes and to his ribs during the attack, allegedly by another mentally ill inmate inside his cell at the St. Catherine Adult Correctional Center. He has since been freed. Last week, 39-year-old Daron Brown, an inmate at the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center, also died. He was reportedly struck by a correctional officer's regulation baton and fell. His death triggered a hunger strike and protests from prisoners inside the facility. Indicom reported last week that Brown's death brings to 34 the number of prison inmates who have died in custody since 2018, some murdered, some from natural causes, and some committed suicide. On Friday, human rights group Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ, said it was currently pursuing a slew of matters involving inmates who died violently or after being denied fundamental human rights while in prison. JFJ attorney Natasha Robinson said the practice of placing mentally ill inmates within the general prison population and the general lack of attention to medical needs remain constant contributory factors in almost all of the cases being pursued. In most of the cases, what happens is that an inmate will get sick and they will take a long time to take him to the hospital or give them any medical attention, so their health deteriorates. It is really when it gets really bad that they are given any medical attention, she said, noting patients suffering from HIV and other terminal illnesses are worst affected. When you leave a mentally ill man in the general population and you're not giving him his medication, you leave him open to his illness spiraling. And of course, that is not well received by other inmates, she explained. Among the cases for which families are seeking compensation through JFJ is that of a 19-year-old schizophrenic murder convict who was repeatedly abused, leading to his death. Another case is that of a HIV-positive male who was not administered medication on time, leading to his death from HIV complications. This was months before he was slated for release after serving a 2-year sentence. In another case, an inmate who was serving time for a minor offense made repeated complaints about threats and violence from other inmates which were ignored. He was eventually attacked by another inmate, resulting in his skull being smashed. He has been suffering severe mental illness since, explained Robinson. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.